All right. So, yeah, basically, it's kind of lighthearted. It's kind of informal. I don't do all the formal stuff. Tell me about yourself, Mel.
All right, so I'm Mel. Um, I don't know really what to say. I'm
Well,
23.
basically, just a kind of background to you, and how you find yourself watching arena streams, and what is it that's
Okay.
got your interest, what you currently believe is true and not true, and what path you're on, and what's led you to that kind of flex. Just
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm Mel. I'm 23. I don't really have a religion preference. I was raised in a Christian household, but it was never really something that was like major, like consistent. If you get what I mean.
right.
Um, I yeah. I know that my dad's side is more into it and my mom is somewhat, but I never really took it like seriously because it wasn't like pounded into me kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then one of my friends told me about Islam, and it's really interesting to me because some of the personal beliefs that I have do align with
Okay.
what the Quran says. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced that, but yeah, I've done some research and there's some things that I disagree with, but that's just because of who I am personally.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of my background.
So basically, just to put it in a nutshell, so you're not from a particularly religious background, although if you ask your parents what you believe, they'd say they were Christians, I'm assuming.
Correct. But
Yeah.
however, like now, I mean, I have my own personal beliefs, but I wouldn't really sway towards one religion or another. I know that kind of might sound a little bit wonky, but
No.
yeah.
See, what my job is to show you, right? Whatever beliefs you have other than Islam,
Mm-hmm.
are kind of false. Not
Okay.
false. Not for you. They might feel true. There's a
Right.
difference between absolute truth and relative truth. So,
Right.
yeah. So, for example, a prime example, if I was up against a Christian right now, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the absolute truth is either Jesus is God or he isn't. Yeah. So he's either
Right.
just a man
Yep.
or he's a God man. Yeah.
Right.
Now, a Christian will believe in their truth, in their relative truth, that he's a God man. Yeah, he's got a God spirit as well as a man spirit. Yeah,
Right.
and he existed eternally and such and such and such. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for me as a Muslim, my relative truth would be, well, actually, no, he wasn't a God man. He was just a man, just a prophet. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, these are our relative truths, but the absolute truth is it has to be one or the other. Or it could be he never existed as well. So, but you have to have an absolute reality.
Oh, 100%. I mean, okay, I do think that things happen for a reason. Like,
Okay.
say that you make one decision, like, so basically, life can go either two ways when you make a decision. Like, for
Yeah.
example, if I wouldn't have taken a job, then who knows where I would be. Like sometimes I will look back on stuff that has happened and it'll just be like, okay, if I wouldn't have made this decision, where would I be right now? If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I look back at my life as in the same way that certain circumstances occurred in my life that
exactly.
I'll give you a prime example of my life. Yeah, just one example of which was a massive turning point in my life as well. But so many little things had to go wrong on that particular day, right? They just everything just had to align, right? So I'll give you an example, right? So I used to be a bit of a thief, yeah, and I went to a supermarket and I stole a pot of gel and a brush, right, to do my hair.
Okay.
And I was 15 years of age at the time, and I was a pretty good thief. Anyway, so we come out, we nick them, job done, and I was like, wow, that was easy. Let's go back and get something else, right? Now, I never returned to the scene of a crime. Well, if I've got away with it. They may have been suspicious, but they weren't quite sure. So anyway, I returned to the scene, to the same shop. So if people saw me before, had suspicion about me, they've seen me return, and now their eyes are on me. But I'm oblivious to this, right? So I'm looking, what shall I steal? What shall I steal? Anyway, I ended up stealing these big bars of chocolate. Right.
Right.
And I put them inside my coat, and I left. Now, as I'm leaving, so I got out, I come out again. This time I heard a woman running behind me. And I thought, oh, maybe she's just running for a taxi or something, right? And then she puts her hand on my shoulder. Could you come back into the store with me, please? I was like, oh, crap, I'm caught. All right. So I'm passing this, this bin. So I put my hand in my pocket to pull out this chocolate, to dump the chocolate in the bin as I'm passing. The bin had just been emptied. So I went, brah! she turned around. That was very clever, wasn't it? Get it out. So I'm getting these bars of chocolate that I just stole out of this bin, right? And then just as I'm going back into the store, so I could ride this out. I could go in, don't do it again, don't come to the store again, whatever. The problem was the shop next door my father came out of.
Oh my God.
with my mum, and saw me. And they saw me with this older woman going into the store. So they thought I'm having an affair with an older woman or something, right? So they followed into the store. Then they realized what was happening. And then they came to the office. They went mental on me. And then at that point, I left home. Now, this was my stepmom at the time. Now, what happened prior to this, 2 weeks prior to this, my mum had a dream. Now, my mum lived in a different part. So you're in you're in the central part of America, isn't it?
Yep, in the States. Yep.
Yeah, the central. What's it called?
Wisconsin.
So you're in Wisconsin, right? So I mean, I know your states are massive, but say someone from another state. So my mum lived in another state. Okay. She lives in Manchester, England. I was living in South Wales.
Okay.
I know this is your story, but I'm telling you a point of what you made.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So she had this dream that me and my brother were in trouble. She was sat in this McDonald's, sitting, talking to us, asking us finding out we were in trouble. Mm-hmm. And she said to her husband, I think the boys are in trouble because my parents are split when I was young. And he's like, what? He goes, yeah, I've had a dream. I think they're in trouble. I need to go to them. He goes, but you don't know where they are. And she goes, well, I know the town where they live. So if I just get the train there, I'll just ask people. Literally, that was her plan. I'm just going to arrive in the town and start asking people, do you know this person? Do you know that person? Now, the funny thing was, we used to go to this particular store in the town centre. And we used to do errands for the guys that run the store because it was a computer store. So we could get to play the video games, the latest ones and stuff. If we went and got their dinner and stuff like that, you get their lunch and that, yeah? Mm-hmm. So anyway, so this lad was sent to get the lunch because it was his turn. And he was sent to McDonald's, right?
So it was basically a foreshadow, basically.
SubhanAllah. So he goes to McDonald's. And then my mum sees this guy. And she says, oh, do you know Darren and Wayne Myatt? Which was me and my brother. And he's like, yeah, I just left them. They're in the shop. And she's like, what? Really? He goes, yeah, I just left them now. He goes, oh, she gives him some money. And she said, can you go and tell them that their mum is waiting? So he came back and told us, and we're like, what? My mum? She's in Manchester. She won't be here. Yeah, no, your mum. She's here. And McDonald's waiting for you. And within 15 minutes, we were sat at McDonald's having this conversation with my mum. And she said, are you in trouble? Yeah, I mean, she said, are you in trouble? And we're like, no, I'm not in trouble. Sure, you're not in trouble. No trouble whatsoever. She goes, if you ever get in any trouble, call me. And she gave me her number. And she left. 2 weeks later, I was in trouble. And I called her. And I ended up moving from South Wales to Manchester.
It's interesting that you say that because a similarity has happened like that in my life. There was a specific person that I was trying to get away with. So I live a few hours away from my original hometown. And I originally moved up for college and basically trying to get away from my family and a specific person and just basically wanted just to start fresh in essence. And it's funny just because of how things either impact you or travel with you. Because some things you just can't get away from no matter how hard you try and everything like that. But yeah, that's just kind of ironic with how the foreshadowing and all of that works. Like I said,
but it gets even more bizarre. Do you know how more bizarre it gets?
Exactly. I mean, sometimes
Look,
like
just listen to this. So I moved to I left everything and moved to Manchester with my mum. Yeah, because of
mhm,
this incident. Anyway, I had no clothes. I'd left everything back in Wales. I'd just come with what I was wearing. She goes, "Oh, we need to
mhm,
go get you some clothes." So we went into this clothes shop looking for, this jean store looking for clothes.
mhm.
And we found some clothes and that. Anyway, she said to the guy behind the counter, "Can you give him a job? He's a really good salesman." Yeah. And the guy behind the counter is like, "Well, we only really employ girls. Yeah, the girls attract the guys and that." He goes, "Oh, he's really good though. You should give him a go." So that guy did take me on. Yeah, did hire me. I became a Muslim in his house 12 years later.
Oh wow.
So he became one of my best friends, and it was his.
Awesome.
Yes, and it was his. And he wasn't really practicing Islam. It was just the culture of Islam was around him and his family,
Yeah.
and I loved it. And I'd never seen this before.
It's
And
interesting that you say that, because that's kind of what happened with my friend who introduced me to your channel. He was born and raised in a complete Christian family and everything, and he was introduced to Islam. And he just realized how basically everything in the Bible was fake or just wasn't right in one way or another. And he did more research into Islam and just basically fell in love with it. So
wow,
yeah, it's kind of crazy. And he was just talking to me about it, and basically our beliefs and stuff align to a point where it's just like, well, this actually might be something that works in the long run, belief wise. And yeah, now I'm here. I mean, I have apps downloaded just for the QR. How do you say that?
all right. The way to say the Quran. You can say, initially, because you're not going to get the Arabic qaf. Yeah.
Right.
Just say Quran. And you'll get away with that. Just say the Quran, because it's a qaf. So in Arabic you have ka, yeah, and then you
Okay.
have qa, right? So the Quran is qur, yeah, but but if you just say Quran, you're fine.
Okay.
And then when you learn the Arabic, then you'll say properly Quran, because there's even like a letter that sounds like a ah, so it's like Quran. Do you get me? But
that's kind of like Spanish in a way, because there's some words that mean specific things, but there's also words that also mean that. I feel like there's between like a bunch of languages, like it's all different in its own aspect, but American or English language is just simple in that aspect, because the word just means one thing, if you get what I'm saying.
well, it doesn't. You could say there. You could say there. You could say like there. It's theirs, or they're over there, or they're going. Do you get me?
Oh yeah.
English is mad. There's a TikTok channel with a guy, and it's, English is crazy. English is really crazy.
Oh yeah.
The way like what is it? I see one today. Like he says, "Oh, what should we call this thing that you clean the floor with?" He goes, "We call that a mop." Okay. What about what sucks the dirt up? Yeah, we'll call that a vacuum cleaner. Okay. And what about the thing that we kind of grab all the good dirt together? Like he goes, "Yeah, we'll call that a broom." Right. So he goes, "So what do you do when you use the mop? What is that called?" "Yeah, that's mop." So you mop, okay. And when you use the vacuum cleaner, you vacuum. And then he goes, when you use the broom, you sweep. what happened to? Well, you get me? So it's like English is mad. I think English is a difficult language to learn. It must be, because it's just crazy. And I don't know if this works in all languages, but if you just emphasize a particular word in a sentence, you change the whole meaning.
Oh yeah.
So for example, if I say to you, like, I told you not to kill him, right? But then I said, I told you not to kill him. Then I'm saying I didn't tell you to, right? And then, so I'm saying I told you not to kill him, right? Then if I said, I told you not to kill him, yeah? And then the next one would be, I told you not to kill him. Or I told you not to kill. So basically, just by emphasizing a different word in the sentence, you change the whole meaning. You change the whole context. It's madness.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy.
And then and sometimes, you know, when you hear people speaking a foreign language, and then you hear them say some English words, and we think that they're borrowing from English, but the reality is they're probably words that we've took off them and we're using as English, which in fact we recognize it when they're talking their language because we've stolen that word and utilized it into English. Anyway, another story, right?
Yeah.
So the point here is this, right? So you're interested in Islam. I know you've got some questions with regard to Islam and some things you agree with and some things you disagree with.
Correct.
Now, I know the first thing you said you disagree with isn't a thing in Islam.
So okay.
You spoke about, you know, let's be straight. You spoke about condoms and you spoke about birth control.
Yeah. Okay.
So this isn't forbidden in Islam.
So, okay. So my main point with birth control is that it's a lot of the time, so like in my case and in a lot of cases that of people I know, it's medically needed because people's periods are.
You're missing the point. You've missed the point already. Birth control isn't prohibited in Islam.
I thought that I read that it was.
No.
Oh, I guess that it's just frowned upon. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah, right. So this is the thing, you see. So the premise you came with was I don't agree with condoms being haram and birth control being haram because there are some people who have certain circumstances, or do you get me? And for medical reasons, or even just family planning reasons, that they need to use birth control. Yeah.
Right.
But the problem is the original premise you came with wasn't true. So I researched it when you came with it, because I was like, wait a minute. Condoms are haram. The use of a condom is haram. Really? Why? This is my question, right? Why? Why would it be forbidden? What are you preventing using a condom? All right, you're preventing the sperm traveling to the egg and whatever, yeah? Right.
Yeah.
Which is fine. What was the way of doing that in the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and in the time of the companions and such? It was withdrawing. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's withdrawing. What's the difference? What's the difference of withdrawing and emptying out onto the floor or emptying into a rubber tube? What's the difference? There's no difference. You can't say, oh, you're stopping the child. Well, you're stopping the child anyway, but pull it out. Yeah? So it's like, why is it haram? So then I looked. There's nothing in the time of the Prophet that, condoms didn't exist in the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Therefore, it couldn't be a thing then. So why now are some people saying it's haram? So I looked at one Indian scholar, just what he said. And he basically said that if the reasons you're using a condom or birth control is because you're worried about getting pregnant, then it's haram for you because you should trust in Allah to provide for you and such and such and such, right? This is just his opinion, right? If the reason you're doing it, what was the second reason?
Medically?
No. Medical was the third one. No, the second one. What was it? There was a second reason to do it, which was disliked. Yeah, it was frowned upon.
Right.
What was the reason though? I think it was to do with enjoyment, maybe something like that. I don't know. Yeah. And the third reason was if it's going to be medical harm, if there's going to be some physical harm to the mother or the child or whatever, then it's completely halal, right? Now, for me, I didn't even buy into that. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Why are you making it haram? Why are you making it forbidden? The Prophet ﷺ didn't teach this. The Quran doesn't teach this. And so, from what I understand, to use a condom, which obviously between husband and wife, because this is who has sex, husbands and wives. Yeah. It's not forbidden. So that just kills that argument.
Yeah.
Because there is no argument.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you say. And I guess I just got the wrong vibe.
This happens all the time, though. It happens all the time that people, I'm not saying this is you, Mel, yeah, but they get a caricature of what they think Islam is. And they say, well, I don't agree with that, and I don't agree with that, and I don't agree with that, right? So I could never be a Muslim, right? And you're like, well, what don't you agree with? What don't you agree with? And then it's like, well, wait a minute, that's not true. Well, why do you think that? Do you know what I mean?
I think a lot of the issue too is there's such a stigma and there's a lot of misinformation out there, so you don't really know what's right from wrong unless you
Completely.
read certain stuff or unless you know someone personally who is Muslim, and then they can go from there, which that's what happened here, because I saw a video that was like 30 minutes or so, and that's what I had grasped from it.
Well,
So
who made the video? Who was the video from?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I know that it was a YouTube video. I know
Was
that
it Muslim? Was it Muslims doing it or non-Muslims?
I think it was a Muslim doing it. My friend sent me it. So
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a very personal question. So is this friend kind of, you thinking of maybe romantically married such if you accept Islam, or I have to ask?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. No, because I always warn people who are thinking of Islam seriously as a move to make in life, that don't do it for the right reasons. Do it for the right reasons. Don't do it because of this particular person.
Oh,
Now,
100%.
so like I say, so I always say this as well, but that doesn't mean just because a boyfriend or some, this is not you, I'm not talking about, I'm just talking about in general. A boyfriend or a girlfriend has sparked your interest. They could just be the conduit for you to come to Islam. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously you could then look at that person and think, wow, our values align now properly. So maybe I should think about you more romantically, because what's going to happen, what happens is your values when you accept Islam change drastically from what you were brought up with and the boys you were brought up around and the men in your lives, or maybe because what you thought was not important in your life becomes like the most important, and things that you thought were very important become non-existent. You don't even care. Do you know what I mean? So you have this value shift, and this is what happens, and it happens like with friends and things like that. You'll find out who your true friends are, because they'll roll with you. Yeah, because true friends will say, "Wow, yeah, I support you in your choice." Like, you know.
Well, it's interesting that you say that too, because there's been a few people that I've talked to about the religion and everything like that, and they've just been like, "You're absolutely crazy for that." And they brought up their reasons, and it's just like, okay, from my understanding, that's literally the stigma, and that started from the Western culture or something like that. And it's just like the stigma around
it's the caricature, Mel. It's the caricature. It's the caricature that's been that they think Islam is this thing, and anyone who wants to be part of that must be mental.
Yeah, I would agree with that to some sort.
But that thing is not Islam. But that thing is not Islam. If they knew what Islam is, they'd want it. But because they think it's this crazy thing, women are going to be oppressed and intolerant and throw gays off buildings and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And you can't have freedom. And why would anybody do that? Why would you emancipate yourself? Why would you tie yourself down this way? Why would you restrict yourself? You know what I mean? And they can't stand it. Why would you join a religion that oppresses women? Why would you join such an intolerant religion? Why would you join a terrorist religion? What, you're going to go join ISIS? This is the thoughts that people will have.
Exactly.
But they don't know the teachings of Islam. They don't know what Islam is.
Exactly.
And if they knew, if every parent knew what Islam is.
And that's the main issue as well. One of my good friends told me to watch a movie. I think it was named like Not Without Your Daughter or something like that. And And I personally have watched a little bit of it. I fell asleep watching it one night. But so I don't really know like the premise or anything like that. And I mean, obviously she has her own opinions because of her own stuff and everything like that. But from what I've been told, the misconcept about women is crazy to actually what happens. Because basically from what I've been told / learned is that women are basically taken care of by the man in the Islam society, which that is awesome, I think personally, because of how things are in America and just politics with that and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, look, at the end of the day, women, they really do want to be taken care of in reality.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
and Islam commands men, take care of your women. I'll give you an example. My daughter, right? We're like, oh, you're going to need to get a job soon. She's like 17 now. Yeah, we need to get a job soon.
Right.
Why do I need to get a job? I said, well, because you need to earn money. She goes, what do I need money for? Right? She goes, what do I need money for? I said, well, you might want to go out and buy this and buy that. She goes, yeah, that's what you're for. I was like, what? She goes, yeah. In Islam, you've got to clothe me, you've got to feed me, you've got to shelter me. What's the problem?
Well,
And
and
I'm like,
see, that's
I'm like, what? Fair enough.
I mean, okay, I get what she's saying to a certain extent, but the way that I was raised is very independently and to never like rely on a man or just anyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a job since I was 16. So, and when I turned 18, I had a full-time job and a part-time job consistently.
Wow.
So, I was working probably 65 to 70 hours per week. I mean, basically my career and everything has basically been my entire life up
Oh,
until
wow.
probably 3 or 4 months ago, where I actually had to take a step back from my dream job. And that
What's your
itself.
dream job?
So, do you know what escape rooms are?
Do I know escape rooms? Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of.
So basically, I'm a big enthusiast, and it's one of my favorite things. So I was a game master, and it's been something that's been a part of my life for probably 2 or 3 years back and forth. And I had to make the decision for myself because of mental concepts that I personally wanted to work on, and I knew that I couldn't work on them if I was working so much, because I was literally pushing myself away mentally and not dealing with the issues because of work. So there was that. Um and I just I think that, I mean, I get the concept that a guy should take care of a woman 100%, but just because of the way that I was raised, I'm indifferent about it because I just don't really rely on anybody, and that's the way that I've been for God knows how long.
No. I look, I was the same as you. I left the home at 15 to go live with my mum, and then within about a year, I was out of there as well, and I was just living in. Yeah, so that's no problem. The point is, you see, in Islam, our daughters are princesses, literally, and they get treated as such. My daughters are chauffeur driven to the school, back from the school, everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they hardly use public transport, because we take care of them. Do you know what I mean? And my daughter was just showing me that, look, obviously for a bit of independence. I mean, I've got a shop. Yeah, I sell scarves in a shop. Yeah, you may have seen.
Right.
Have you seen the
Oh, yeah.
streams?
100%. I mean, I know that your camera doesn't really like pan to the full shop and whatnot, but from the stuff that I've seen, the hijabs that you have are actually, they look pretty unique.
They're awesome. If I just say so myself. I've said this many times. I sometimes question what am I better at, doing this dawah and talking about Islam and debates, or selling scarves, because I'm really good at selling scarves. Buying them, selling them, displaying them, brilliant. Anyway, my daughter, she never really wanted to work in the shop, but she worked one day and she really, really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
She really enjoyed the interaction with the customers, and so it's something she's going to do more of because she enjoyed it. But the reality is this: I do pay for whatever she wants.
Yeah,
that's the reality, because Islam tells me I have to take care of her, and I can't wait till she gets married. Then the responsibility is off me.
Yeah.
And that rolls on then to the arranged marriage thing. So people say to me, "Are you going to arrange your daughter's marriage?" I said, "I'm going to have a say in who she marries, 100%." Because whoever she marries has to do what I do. He has to do my job.
You want to be able to trust him, basically.
He's got to be able to do what I'm doing. He's got to be able to take care of my daughter the way I'm taking care of her.
Right.
And no disrespect, but geezers can do like that with ladies and their heart. Oh, I love him. Yeah, right. Of course you do. Where is he? Let's have a chat. You know what I mean? And so it's like, and I'm not saying he has to have a brilliant job and all that, because I know there can be so much potential in people. They just not had the opportunity.
Yeah. I think what it also boils down to is just the respect and common sense of people, because a lot of people just don't have respect or common sense, bottom line, a lot of with society and just humanity. And it's something that I look down upon very strongly, because it's just like, it's not that hard to not be stupid.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm going to start testing you now, Mel. Right.
Okay.
Because you said I don't have religion and such. I don't mind that. And do you believe in a creator? Do you believe in God?
like I said, I think everything happens for a reason. As to someone that like you look up to, like pray to,
No,
I mean,
let's not worry about that right now. We don't have to
okay,
worry about religion. So we'll take what we'll do, Mel. We'll take religion off the table. So
okay,
when I say God, let's stop thinking of churches and mosques and praying and all this sort of stuff. Right?
okay,
We can leave that aside. What we're talking about is when I say God, I'm going to change the word creator.
okay,
The uncaused cause of everything that exists. So the universe cannot exist without this creator, and could not have been proportioned and designed the way it is without the existence of a creator.
right,
So do you believe in that?
yes.
Yes. That was a yes. That was like yes. What am I agreeing to? Yes.
I want to say yes because I do believe the factor that everything happens for a reason. So I want to say yes.
Yeah, but even that, don't worry about things happening for a reason. Because see, what I want to do right now, Mel, I want to take this whole emotional, subjective aspect away. Yeah, I just want to deal with the
Okay.
raw materials. So
Okay.
when people ask me, prove God exists, and what's your proof God exists? I'll just say the universe. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
the universe is evidence that God must exist because the universe couldn't exist without an originator. The science of physics, chemistry, and biology all point to an uncaused cause. They all point to an intelligent mind behind everything. Although the atheists won't go there because they don't believe in the supernatural, so they have to go with natural explanations, which are so probabilistically absurd. They don't even realize what they're blindly believing in. Atheists make this kind of claim. Oh, we don't believe, we know. Well, the reality is no, you believe. The reason you believe is because whatever you want to believe in, if you want to believe in, for example, evolution, you want to believe in the idea that human beings evolved from some common ancestor, which it itself originated from something else, which is itself originated from something else, and it all goes back to a single cell organism.
Right.
That needs an explanation. Well, where did single cell organism come from? You don't know. Okay, what are the options? Well, the single cell could have mutated and then it created new proteins, which then could cause new organs and become new species. And so this is the process, natural selection, yeah. This random mutation. And you're like, well, wait a minute. So this random mutation, what's the probability of that happening? What's the probability of something randomly mutating for no reason whatsoever, just randomly? And we don't even know if random even exists. But anyway, so it's randomly mutating, and it's something positive.
Yeah.
What's the chances? What's the options?
Yeah.
And the probability is so absurd to get one protein from a random mutation. And then you've got a time scale of 3.85 billion years to fit it into as well. So it's got to do this probabilistically, and then it's got to do it within this time frame. It's just impossible.
Yeah,
and this is
that.
the assumed position the atheist has to cling to. And even though it's so absurd, they just have to believe it's true, because the alternate is what? It's deliberate. The alternate is it's not random mutation. It's deliberate. And if it's deliberate, that means there's an intelligence behind it, because DNA has information, and human experience tells us information can only come from an intelligent agency. It doesn't come randomly. If you open a book and you see all the the paragraphs written and full stops and and all making sense, you don't think this happened accidentally. Somebody has put this book together. They don't just throw letters on a page and it's formed a story. It's been designed and proportioned, and paragraphs and exclamation marks and question marks, and
it's someone's thoughts.
It had to be, yeah. Yep. So what you're asking is that a book that look, I've got a book here, for example. It's only a thin book, small book, yeah. Game theory, very good actually. You should read it, right? Do you know what game theory is about? It's about basically that all throughout our lives, all our interactions is a game. You know that.
That's actually really interesting how that would relate to escape rooms. So I will definitely have to check that out.
Check it out, honestly, because if you're buying a car, it's a game between you and the buyer. Yeah, if you're in a relationship, it's a game. and you, and you got to know you're in the game to play the game. Because some people don't know they're in the game. So you imagine you're in a conversation with somebody who knows they're in a game, and they're playing by the rules, and you don't know you're in a game. You just think you're just going along, and you're being manipulated the whole way because you don't know the game that's being played.
Yeah.
So anyway, go back to the point, right? So if something as simple as this book couldn't come together by accident, yeah, no one would believe that. And then you're asking us to believe that the single cell with all its DNA, the information contained within the DNA, what color eyes, what color this, what color that, what color skin, how many legs, and all this information happened by accident. You're asking us to accept that. So the atheist doesn't have a leg to stand on within science. And then if you go to chemistry, you've got carbon, you've got to explain that. Then if you go to physics, you've got the fine tuning. How do you explain that? So I think we can agree there's an intelligent mind behind the universe we'll call the creator.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that.
And if that creator created everything, he would know that creation better than it knows itself. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So would you believe that would be the only one to take supreme guidance and objective morality from?
Yes.
Like it, don't like it, it is what it is. Yeah. See where this is going, can't you? Right. Yes. Right. So when we say, you know, when you become a Muslim, you say two phrases. You say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And what you say in that phrase is, I bear witness. There's nothing worthy of worship or recognition other than Allah.
Okay.
Now, when we say Allah, we won't go there yet. But basically, Allah is the name for the creator. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we surrender ourselves. We say, you know what? There's no, forget what, who's your guy? Joe Biden says, or Boris Johnson says, or Macron says. Forget what they're saying is good and bad, right and wrong. Yeah. You've got the creator of everything telling you this is right, this is wrong.
Right.
So I think, if I'm not wrong, Mel, you're halfway to being a Muslim, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Because that's the basic principle. You know, when we surrender ourselves to God, we're just basically saying, you know what? I just put my trust in you. It's like my daughter saying to me, I trust you, Dad. If you think this is right, then I'll go with you because you've got experience and you can comprehend danger and this, that, the other.
Right.
So we trust you, Dad. When my kids used to think I hang the moon at night. You know what I mean? It's like they trust everything I say because they know I've experienced certain things and I'll know better than them. And all right. Well, then who do we trust as human beings, as adults? Who do we trust to be right and wrong, to comprehend danger for us? You start looking at the people in charge. You think, well, you guys have got a clue, mate.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can definitely understand and agree with that too, because I mean, at some point your friends and your family die off and it's just like, okay, well then who do I...
No, but even your friends and your family, Mel, even your friends and your family, they've all been influenced by the same society you live in. Yeah, we're all social constructs. Our morality is based upon the society we grow up in. And that is determined by the leaders that we have.
Right.
And through the media and through the music and through the movies and through the TV series and all these things, they'll mold society and change its concepts. So I used this example the other day in the arena, actually. Was it in the arena, this? About the homosexuality?
I want to say it was.
It was the arena. Where I basically said, like 50, 60 years ago, homosexuality was something horrible. Homosexuality was something you get beaten up for. Homosexuality was something that was illegal. At one point in time, it was capital punishment for it. Yeah. And today, it's fashionable. It's encouraged. It's taught to children. And the only thing that's changed in that time is what's being fed to the society.
What's right and what's wrong, yeah.
Yeah, the moral standard. The moral standard gets twisted. So, oh yeah, this was wrong then, but it's right now.
It's interesting that you say that too, because my friend and I, we go back and forth all the time of how morals and standards and everything like that are consistently changing, and how with Islam, it's consistently one thing. And
it is where it is. There are slight interpretations and different things, and there are schools of thought on it, but generally, yes, it's standard.
It's just one thing that it's either yes or no, and that is something that I do, and that is something that I do agree with, because the factor of like things changing, like, oh, So say that, I don't know, someone can't do something because of their beliefs or whatever, and that impacts someone else. I don't know. That was a bad example. um,
No. Look,
but
here's,
you get what I'm saying, though.
yeah. Look, I'll give you a prime example. There's countries today, let's see if you can guess the country, right? Where women can't go to work unless they wear a certain type of clothing, yeah? And girls can't go to school unless they wear certain type of clothing. And even parents can't go on school trips with their children unless they wear a certain type of clothing.
Yeah.
And they're actually physically stopped from going to work if they don't wear this particular clothing, yeah? They're told how to dress. Do you know which country this is?
I know that I'm pretty sure it's Islam culture. I'm pretty sure. As for what country, I'm not entirely sure.
France.
Oh, okay.
Because in France, a Muslim schoolgirl can't wear a scarf. If she wears a scarf, she can't go to school.
Huh.
Now, until she's 18, right?
Okay.
And but she can choose to have sex at 15.
Okay.
So she can choose to have sex at 15, but she can't choose to wear a scarf until 18, right? The parents can't wear a scarf to go on school trips with their daughters, and women can't go into public buildings to work if they wear a scarf.
Okay.
In France, a Muslim woman will be made to strip on the beach down to a bikini or a swimsuit. They're not allowed to cover up.
Okay.
And this is France. Now, most people think Afghanistan when you start talking about women's rights. And this is the amazing thing, and this is our culture in a nutshell. Once what happened in Afghanistan with the Taliban, the women, this, that, the schoolgirls. All right, yeah, get that. Why don't you care about the women in France? Why has this become an issue for you? But this is happening in France, and no one's saying nothing.
Yeah, I think
no. You've got videos of Muslim women being told to remove clothing on the beach, forced to strip by the government.
That's just not right.
No, but that's the scenario you're in. You get me? And this is the problem with society and morality.
Yep, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
it's people forcing people to do things, and it's just not something that I'm okay with, because at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like it should be up to you whether you do something.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. If that's the laws of France, then that's the laws of France. Yeah.
Then so be it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if France decide this is the law, you can't go to the beach until you're half naked. Yeah. And you girls can't wear hijab in school, and you women can't wear the hijab in public buildings. That's the law. But if you're going to accept that, then you should say to Afghanistan, well, if that's the law, that's the law. So if Afghanistan, the women have to cover to go to school, and have to cover to go to work, and have to cover to go out, then you can't like saying, but the war women. Well, wait a minute. I thought we've just agreed that the law's the law. So if a sovereign nation determines law in their land, and if you don't like that law, then leave that land. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then when it comes to Afghanistan, why don't you give the same concept? Why don't you allow the same thing that, well, if that's the law of the land, it's the law of the land, deal with it.
I feel like a lot of people don't deal with it and just have the opinion that they do because of the stigma that they have. And I feel like a lot of things just boil down to a stigma, because a lot of people believe one thing, so everybody should believe it, when they don't have the research or anything to back that up. And I feel like that's where humanity fails.
Do you know what the Quran says about unbelievers?
No, I don't.
Let those who believe, believe, and let those who disbelieve, disbelieve.
Bottom line, that's what it should be.
Because Allah says, but then it goes on to warn those who disbelieve. Don't think you're going to get away with anything. He says, when that day comes and the angels lay you out and tell you this is the day you used to deny, mate. You know what I mean? So don't be shocked when you die. It ain't the end and all that. But you can't go and force people to believe. Do you know what I mean? And even like in a Sharia, even in like a Sharia law state. Yeah, Sharia law is only for Muslims.
Okay.
So if the state of Wisconsin became Sharia compliant, for example, yeah,
right,
it would only be for Muslims in that state. Non-Muslims would have their own laws. You know, if you look back in the days of the, you know, in the golden age of Islam and the Islamic Empire, where the Jews were protected by the Muslims and such, and they had their own judicial systems. But Sharia is for Muslims. That's who it's for. And so when people don't understand these concepts, do you know what I mean?
Yep. It's, yeah.
Right. I've not got long left for this particular talk. We are going to continue this talk. I apologize. I can only do like 50 minutes today.
It is okay. I do appreciate the education and just the open-mindedness and everything like that. Because
yeah. You know, I'm really going to drill into you, but I thought I'd make the opening one just to establish, because we know you're halfway to being a Muslim, and I know you've got objections to Islam, right? Now, there's two ways I could do this from this point on. I could say, well, look, who cares what you object to? Islam is not about what you like and what you dislike, or what you find hard or what you find easy. Islam, if you accept Islam, it's because it's true. And if it's true, it's true. And that means it is where it is.
Right.
So if for example, just for example, you had to stop drinking alcohol, well, you have to stop drinking alcohol.
I mean, at the end of the day, like just for that example, I don't think that's the worst thing, because a lot of people do rely on it just to get away from their problems or reality instead of facing it. And it's just like just facing it and dealing with it and becoming a better person is way better than getting away from it. I mean, I kind of understand both sides, but I mean, I lean 100% towards just getting better as a person. I mean,
you shouldn't need artificial intoxicants to lift you, to make you speak better. You shouldn't really need it. Yeah. And people say, oh, you know, with alcohol, it makes you sociable and this, that, the other, right? Well, I've not drunk now. I mean, I stopped drinking alcohol when I learned about the dangers of alcohol from a Muslim, 2 years before I became a Muslim. Yeah. So I've not drunk alcohol now for like 22 years. And I don't find that I'm restricted in social environments, that I can't speak or I can't laugh, or, you know what I mean? I mean, some of the laughs I've had as a Muslim, I've never laughed so much in my life. Do you know what I mean? I don't need this. You know, now I've worked in Falaraki, the Greek bars. You know, I've done tequila slammer tours and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've been paralytic. I've been drunk in clubs, and it's horrible. It's just horrible. I got scars on my body that I look at. I think, well, if I didn't drink alcohol, I wouldn't have you scars, mate. You're a result of me drinking. You know what I mean?
100%. I mean, it's not only just of how it impacts you. I mean, it's also like the hangovers and everything like that. It's just like, why the hell is that worth it?
The money going into it, and the worst thing is, you see, society, the people who run your society, encourage you.
Yep, that's what it all boils down to.
It's bottled poison. No, I have a talk on the 5 poisons: drugs, alcohol, gambling, sexual immorality, and interest dealings. That these are all poisons prevalent in every society, and each one is a detriment to that society. Each one of those poisons, and it's only Islam that prohibits all of them. Only Islam does that. No other way of life prohibits all of them. Christianity says drink, but don't get drunk. In Islam, don't drink, don't sell it, don't pour it, don't transport it, don't serve it, don't sit at a table where it's being served. It's like everything just takes you away from it, that you can't even go near it. Because there are many people who may go to a club and not drink alcohol, but still be a victim of somebody who has been drinking alcohol. Do you know what I mean? You're going into a place. You're going into a place where people are deliberately losing their minds. Deliberately.
You know, I think it's interesting that you say that, because something that is a joke between my friends and I, like whenever we do drink or whatever, like literally I'll have a drink or whatever, and I'll literally take 2 sips of it and then fall asleep. Like, it's not something that like I enjoy doing per se. I never really had. I mean, I know that with society and everything like that, a lot of people have like that crazy phase where they just drink get blackout drunk, all of that stuff. And it's just like I never really had that phase, and I'm 100% okay with it because it hasn't bothered me, and I don't feel like I need to do that because to become more of a human.
Yeah, the problem is though, you see, with alcohol, if you have a gateway into it, then it just takes a little bit of trauma in your life to increase that amount.
Yep.
Doesn't take much.
I 100% agree with that. I've seen it firsthand, and it's not pretty.
Yeah. So, you know, weddings, which are a nice thing, drinking alcohol. Funerals, the wake, drinking alcohol. And if the person you've lost is somebody who's your soulmate or someone close to you, you might drink to forget. You might want to drink to forget. And it's just poison. It's just poison. But it's only Islam as a way of life that prohibits all these poisons. So I'm going to end it very soon, but I just want to leave it on a little bit of a cliffhanger because we're going to put this one up. Yeah, is that all right? I think it's been a nice talk. I think there's some beneficial stuff in this.
Yeah. I will say it would be awesome to do this again sometime because
we're going to do it again. Mel, this is part 1. Everyone's going to ask me, where's part 2? Where's part 2? Where's part 2? And we're going to do it again, Mel.
Okay, no problem.
I'm going to get you to Islam, inshallah.
We'll see about that, but okay.
But right now, let's just leave it on a cliffhanger, right? So this is what I'm going to deal with next time. What's your biggest objection right now? Even if it's a caricature that you've heard and it may not even be true, what is your biggest objection to Islam?
Let me think on this.
If you want to hold your biggest one back and you want to throw a lightweight one out, that because I know I'm going to crush your biggest objection anyway, right? But so to give yourself a little bit of confidence, maybe throw something out that's like, well, this is a bit of an objection, but I've got bigger problems than that. Okay.
I think the whole sex before marriage, I'm on edge with that. I understand the concept of it, but because of how I was raised, I'm indifferent about it. So I understand both sides of it. Maybe I just need more education or something, or whatever the case may be. But
so what of your objections of becoming a Muslim?
I want to say that, and probably an arranged marriage.
Okay, I can knock them both out. Which is your biggest objection? And I'll leave that till later. I won't go after that first.
Arranged marriage.
Arranged marriage is a basic objection.
I want to say that would be my biggest one.
That's your biggest one?
Because I do think that you should know who you're marrying inside and out, kind of a thing.
Really? Okay. All right. Cool. So, all right. So let's go after your biggest one. All right. So next time we talk, we're going to deal with your arranged marriage objection. Yeah. So you think in Islam, you think it's wrong that, because we've kind of touched on it a little bit, so I think we realize you're on dodgy ground. Anyway, so you feel that the girl or a lady or a man should be allowed to use their own thoughts and their own feelings to choose who they're going to marry.
Yes.
All right.
I do think the parents should have somewhat of a say.
Whoa, no, beep, beep, beep. What's going on here now? You're kind of backtracking.
Well, okay, hear me out here.
What do you think arranged marriage is? Should we? Because we might be discussing two different things here. What is arranged marriage to you?
The parents would choose someone, and the other person would have to deal with it.
That's not Islam.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
Oh, flipping heck. Give me one that I want to... All right, sex before marriage. Let's deal with that one.
Okay.
Because there isn't... You cannot force somebody to marry someone they don't want to marry in Islam. Because the most hated thing in Islam is divorce in the eyes of Allah. Permitted, but hated. So it's like, why would you force your princess to marry some guy against her will? She's your princess.
Exactly, that's not okay.
You care about her. I already told you that the guy's got to do my job. But that doesn't mean that my daughter, that's it. My daughter's got to find the guy attractive, and they can talk about the future if they got, one might want to travel the world, the other one might want to, like she might want to travel the world, for example, and he might say, I want you barefoot and pregnant.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Values
Why ain't gonna
don't
work?
align.
Huh?
Their values don't align, so that wouldn't work.
Exactly. So, and so this is the point. One might want kids, one want kids. Why would you force people into a relationship that you're going to leave them onto their own devices? They don't even know each other. They're not even values are not even aligned. And you say this is Islam, this is halal, this is what we do. Put our oppression on our children, man. No, this is not Islam. This is part of the caricature. But to your defense, I did say you can grab something from the caricature, and I was trying to resist ripping it apart, but you just made it. You made it too easy.
I mean, hey, I'll tell you this. I'm gonna double down on my research, and I will be able to come back at you for next time.
Okay,
I'm always up for a good argument.
Yeah, well, listen, I want to demolish your objections to what Islam is, because there might come a point, you see, where you could be convinced Islam is true, that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. I think next time I am going to do that. I think next time I'm going to present Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, as a messenger of God, as a messenger of this creator. And then I'm going to test you whether or not you truly do want to connect to the creator or not, right? Then you can bring all your guns out. Do some research. Go do some anti-Islamic research if you must.
I will definitely do that.
No, but the point is I want your objections, your personal objections to Islam.
Okay, I can do that.
Because it's the truth. You just got to bear witness to it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Mel, it's been lovely chatting to you. I'm apologizing. I had to cut it short. I had to make it now. I did have another girl. She came late, and then she said, I've got to deal with her tomorrow now. But anyway, I think this has been really nice, really constructive, and I think there's a lot of beneficial stuff in there that people watching can take from it. But I know the people watching want to see some resistance.
Don't worry.
I think I've set all this up. You're just making it out like, well, she's not really interested. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
What's that?
100%. I mean, hey, I'll give a rebuttal. Don't you worry.
Looking forward to it. I think arranged marriage is done, though. I think you agree with me that when we say arranged marriage, we're just basically saying that the girl or boy can't really be trusted to make the full decision for themselves because they're not thinking past their bits.
Their wants and their desires. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do agree.
They're not going past. They're not going past the emotion side of things.
Yeah,
and now that doesn't mean love marriages can't work or don't work, because they do as well. But do you know how I got married? I can quickly tell you.
Why?
All right, I became a Muslim October 2001, 3 weeks after 9/11. Anyway, I became Muslim October 2001. 3 months after becoming Muslim, I went to a Muslim marriage site, and I found this girl. Really nice what she wrote. I sent her a message. It went to her sister in Canada, got translated into Arabic, went to Morocco, and then the response came in Arabic to Canada, translated to English, came to me. 3.5 weeks that lasted, yeah? Okay. Then I flew to Morocco and married her. And I've been married now, mashallah, 19 years. And
that's awesome.
I didn't even know what I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know what she wanted in life or what I wanted in life. I didn't speak the language. She didn't speak my language. It's amazing, subhanAllah. But just an example. And that is what you could call an arranged marriage.
But I think that's awesome, though, because you both have chose to fight through the hard times and make things work no matter what.
Most definitely so. Definitely so.
And your 19 years literally show that, and that's something that a lot of people don't have these days, because people just call it quits whenever it gets hard, and it's just like that's not how relationships and marriages work.
No, completely. It is hard work. But the beautiful thing is you see, we had the glue of Islam throughout it. So whatever I thought, if it went against what Islam said, she could say, well, that's wrong. Prophet peace and said this. Or if something she said, I could say, wait a minute. No, the Quran says this. So we had something that kept us, that was holding us together, cementing us together.
Exactly.
And that's where the value thing comes in. Right, definitely going to let you go. We'll do this again soon.
Awesome.
Let me think. I'm just trying to think of a day. How are you fixed for? I mean, I don't know if you work. Do you work in the weekend? That?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because you're 6 hours behind me, isn't it?
Yep.
So whatever I do, if an egg, I'm going to be stretching into like, unless it's a weekend. If you work on the weekend, then no.
No, I do not. The weekend is actually probably better for me.
Say it again.
The weekend is better for me.
Okay, should we just do this? Should we do it at the same time next week then?
Yeah, that definitely works.
Done. We'll get there. All right, Mel.
All right, awesome.
Thanks for coming on.
All right, I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Yeah. Our kids' movie night tonight. I think we're watching Pirates of the Caribbean 3 or something.
That is a awesome movie. I hope you
I've seen them all. Yeah, I've seen them all. I fell asleep to the last one, but it was at World's End, isn't it? So they were like, "What?" When Jack Sparrow. Do you want to hear a fun fact about Jack Sparrow?
Go ahead.
He was a Muslim.
Really?
His name was
Really?
Yeah, his name was Jack Birdie. His Arabic name was Yusuf Riaz. He was a convert. Yeah, and
Okay.
his wife, Sicilian wife, she was a convert as well, and their whole ship converted to Islam. They had a pirate ship, right? They were all Muslims.
That's crazy. Yeah, I definitely feel like I need to do more research on this because I'm definitely. So I went into this being like a little bit unsure, but you've definitely piqued my interest more than my friend has, and that says a lot to me. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
How long have you known your friend?
What was that? What was that?
How long have you known your friend?
Over 10 years.
Wow!
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What can I say?
Well,
you know one thing about Islam, Mel? It is so logical.
Well, and
it just makes sense.
And that's the thing too. A lot of things in life just boil down to logic and common sense. And again, a lot of people don't have that. So that's where a lot.
Do you have that?
I want to say yes, I do. I mean, I understand with some things that I'm a little iffy on, but I feel like that's with everybody.
Right. I'm going to test your logic. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Take care. Have a great week.
All right. You too.
Ta-da.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Okay. That was Mel. Part 1. Really nice girl. MashaAllah. I know she's going to have a lot of interesting questions. So stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.